need to share it.
Okay.
Okay. Hi everybody. We're going to try things a little bit differently by posting it directly to Heather's page. I'm just going to help her build this turner real quick. So y'all don't freak out. Hi honey.
Hi. I can see what everybody's saying about me now. We're all can't talk crap about me to Cameron. Just kidding. I feel like I have more. Oh. I do.
So what's up everyone? Hi.
We've got 10 people watching. I don't see. Oh, there we go. Hello, Fawn. Hello, Honey. Hello, Elise. We are doing it a bit different today. We are going live on my personal Facebook page and sharing it to some of the groups that I'm in. So if you're in a group and you think it would be okay to post this, go ahead and post it. Share it. So today we're going to be doing something that's a little bit different than what we normally do. I'm going to be doing the UV bubble method, which is a super cool method that a lot of people like the look of on a cup. And explaining the technique of it is a little bit more difficult than just showing you how to do it. I did have a cup somewhere that I'd already done it on. Oh, it's behind you. So this is what the UV bubble method looks like. You can see it looks like bubbles or a rough texture of skin under the epoxy. And once you epoxy, you can still see that bubble method. This one is completely smooth. It's been epoxied. And I added some scales to it and some words and things like that. So this is the type of cup that we're working on tonight. I'll leave that right there in case I need to reference what we're working on. So for this particular cup, you will need UV resin. You'll also need some type of chameleon or ghost chameleon pigment. Some companies carry them. Some of the ones that are a higher chameleon chrome, I get from Solar Color Dust. Some of them change 3 colors, some of them change 4 or 5. The higher number of colors it actually changes between, the more expensive it is. They do come in like itty bitty, teeny tiny little jars. So this is what they come in. Now, something this size is about $20 to $30 depending on how many color shifts it actually changes between. But most of mine are all that same color. You will need a black cup. You can't really use use Chameleon chromes on any other color cup besides a black cup. Another thing that you can use is the Chameleon chrome flakes. These are from Counterculture. That's where I get my epoxy, and they have tons of colors of these. You can also mix these in with your epoxy, and these are like a flake that you'll see under the epoxy.
And I guess it's just an extra arm and an extra set of screws.
Yay! So this is my 30-ounce modern curve tumbler that I'm going to be making tonight. I'm going to put it on, you don't have to plug it in. I'm going to put it on the,
Oh, well, still go ahead just in case you need to. Because it doesn't really turn.
Yeah,
You
I don't
really
need
turn
to
it by
turn.
hand. I'm just saying as far as turning by hand.
So I've got my black tumbler. I put it on a cup turner just for me to be able to turn it manually. You will see me turning it manually on the cup turner. You will need gloves for this because the UV resin is super sticky and it's kind of gross feeling. So I got my gloves. I have been asked before
Hi, Jessica.
if you could use Facet.
Hi, Anita. Hi, Charlene.
I've never used
Hi, Shauna.
Facet, and you guys will be able to see once I start doing it why. I don't know that the Facet would actually work. Do you see my UV light over there on the floor?
Yes.
So I got all my pigments over here, and I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to pick out which one I actually want. So I got green, gold, purple, green, gold, gray, red, orange, gold, green, blue, purple. And so a lot of these I haven't opened up. I got them on a Black Friday sale that Solar Color Dust actually did. So when you open these up, they do have a pressure cap on the inside of them. You want to tap it to make sure that it doesn't, so that it gets some of the powder off of it. To see if you like the color before you actually put it on your entire cup, you can take a line of it on your finger, and you could rub it on your tumbler and see how you like the color of it on the black base.
If you guys can't see at any point in time and you want to see things a little bit closer or a little bit better, just let me know. Because Heather can see certain things here, but if you can't see them, just holler.
So that's what that one looks like. You'll see that it changes between a couple of different colors as the light hits it. I don't like that one as much for this cup, so I'm going to keep on cruising and see if I can find another one that I like. This is Holographic Flakes. Violet, purple, gold. I think that's what I used on my other cup. What I'm going to do is that container. So I'm going to go through my bucket. Ethereal Dust. This is Radiance. Let's see what this looks like. This one doesn't have a color variance that it tells what colors it shifts between. I do like to put them back in my little packs though, because if I don't, I'll forget what colors they are and the names of them.
So how was everyone's Friday?
So this one is very, very purple. So I'm going to rub it on my cup here. I like that one a lot. It's a purple look to it. I don't know if you can see it very well. Dab it on there. It's very purple. So I think I'm going to go with that one. And this one is called Radiance Ethereal Dust from Solar Color Dust. Alright, so I'm going to put all my little containers back in my box. Okay, so I've got my UV resin. I got my UV resin from Miss Lou. If you don't know the website to Miss Lou, it's www.missloudesigns.com, and we also have a discount code for them. It is Custom Creations, and that will get you 10% off of your order. I need to get paper towels under this.
On your right hand side.
Hmm?
Paper towels?
I know. I'm trying to get my gloves on first. Alright, so with this method, you want to make sure that you put a silicone mat of some sort under it. You will be blowing bubbles with water and Dawn dish soap. So you want to make sure to protect your work area so that you don't get water and UV resin and stuff everywhere.
So this is the website from Miss Lou. You decide that you need anything from there. Hop over to that website, grab whatever you need. They have pretty much everything that she's suggested so far, minus a couple of things. So.
And that's including the UV light and the UV resin. So you will need the light as well. UV resin will cure in the daylight, but it takes a lot longer than what it takes under a regular UV light. So I always recommend doing it with a UV light. It cures a lot faster. You also want to do this if it was daylight outside. I would totally do this outside. Or in my garage with the garage door open or cracked for better ventilation. The UV resin does have a strong odor, but it does go away relatively quickly, so you want to make sure you have plenty of ventilation, and some people even wear a respirator. So I'm going to pour, in one of my cups I have Dawn dish soap with some water in there. I've also got a straw to blow my bubbles.
Chrissy said that she just had her second vaccine today, so she'll be ready for hugs soon.
Yes! I know she was saying that she got one of them the other day, and it made her feel like death, her second vaccine.
I'm sorry. I hope you feel better.
So I'm just pouring my UV resin in my cup. I'm actually going to wrap this in the cup in paper towels, so it will try and block out some of the light that's in here.
This is a lot. Like.
Yes, so that it doesn't cure my UV resin. I actually may need to go get another bowl. This one's empty. I do this method on some of my dragon tumblers as well.
Phyllis says she loves her cup, but she wanted Mark Party.
Really?
Hers was the fireball one? No.
No, that was Angela's.
Right.
That was Angela's tumbler. Alright, so I've got my UV resin in my cup. I've probably got about 30 milliliters or so in the bottom of this tumbler, or this cup.
An ounce would have been accurate. I think it was
An ounce, something like that. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to dump my pigment in here. This is my Ethereal Dust. And then I'm going to mix it around. You do need a silicone stir for this. You technically need 2 of them, but I'm going to try and make it work with one, because I don't know where another one is. Okay, so you've got your black tumbler. I'm going to move it up, make sure you guys can see very well. So I'm going to brush on my UV resin mixture. You only want to do enough to where it doesn't roll over your edge, because we're going to do that. This is really freaking pretty. Holy crap. Okay. So just spreading it out on here. And this one actually goes from a purple to a blue. Yeah, it's very pretty. Okay, so I'm going to put my cup somewhere over here. I don't want it to be next to or see any light from my UV light. And let me get some scissors. I'm going to cut this off to make it easier. I'm going to cut one of my straws. I just cut a hole in my glove. Okay, so this part's going to go relatively quickly. So I'm going to blow bubbles in my cup, and then the bubbles are going to spill over my UV resin, and then I'm going to turn my UV light on while the bubbles are still on my tumbler, and it's going to create the bubble look to it. And some people who are probably jumping on right now are probably like, what the hell is this chick doing? But you're going to see, because it's going to look super awesome.
Hi, Gabby. Lisa's like, great.
Yes, I really like this one. This one's the first time that I've used it, obviously, because I opened it. But I really like it, the way that it looks. It doesn't really tell you what colors it shifts between, but it does just say that it's Ethereal Dust. Whatever that means. Alright, so your UV light is going to harden your resin that you have, and it's going to leave behind these little bubble indentions. You can also mix some glow powder in with it, which I probably should have done before I did that first little round there, but I might do it right now, because that will probably be pretty BA. So, what did we do last year's?
Hi, Lisa.
This. I'm pretty sure this one is a white to blue. This one is from Black Bear Glitters. I also have a, yes, this is definitely blue. Okay, so I'm just going to take my UV resin that I've got over here, make sure my light's off. Now this has my mixture of my UV resin as well as my pigments. And I'm just going to mix in a little bit of glow powder in there.
Yeah, isn't that cool? I gotta admit, that was fascinating to watch.
Yeah, you haven't seen me do this
No,
before.
I really haven't. This is the first. So the method's really cool.
Yeah, the method is really cool. It's not as time consuming as you would think. But it is really, really cool. So since this spot right here doesn't have glow powder on it, I am going to go back over it with a little bit more, just so that it has that glow mixed in there and I don't have a streak that's not glowing per se, because that wouldn't be any fun. And as you guys can see, it leaves a super cool texture on the cup, and it leaves a really cool shine, and like, the method is crazy cool. And the pigments that I use, my pigments are really expensive pigments, however they go a very long way. Is that Kayla Chappa?
Yes.
She's the one that told me to put glow in it.
Oh, nice.
She's like, you should try it with glow. I'm like, I'm gonna have to try that next time. And I tried it with my white dragon, but the UV resin bubble method didn't go the way that I had wanted it to. So, alright, so I'm gonna put that back over there. I'll probably blow a couple more bubbles just so I have some smaller spaces. Make sure I have even coverage. So I'm mostly just going to worry about the bubbles up at the top on this one because I kind of missed the top with the last ones. Ew, I just touched that with that.
Get off what you mean, man.
And just make sure that your UV resin cures. You can kind of see it glowing in the daylight. Alright, so now we're going to go on to our next section. I do dry it off just a little bit, and that's only so that the resin sticks to the tumbler. This is a matte black painted cup. I usually always use matte black spray paint, and I do that so that the epoxy or resin or whatever I'm using sticks better to it.
Listen, I just dry brushed the glow powder on, but it's a great idea to mix it into the UV resin.
See? Great minds come up with great things. So I'm going to spread out another section. Make sure you have full coverage of your UV resin. And you could do as big of a space as you think that you can get on the tumbler in one go at it without it falling off on the sides. And right now I don't worry about the UV resin not being completely cured and not sticky. Usually after I do this, I will stick my tumbler out in the sun for a couple of hours just to make sure that all the UV resin is cured. And then I'll epoxy until smooth, and then add my decals and my words. And epoxy again. Okay. So I'm going to put my UV resin back over here, hide it behind me. Put a paper towel in front of it so none of the light gets to it. And then I'm going to take my bubbles again. Takes a lot of breath.
Is that Dawn dish soap bubbles?
Yes, this is Dawn dish soap bubbles. The regular Dawn Blue Dawn. It makes really good bubbles. And once you put your light on it, you'll notice that the bubbles are starting to pop. And that's from the heat of the UV resin actually curing.
It doesn't smell as bad as I thought it would.
Mm-mm. It's when you do a lot of it, like a couple of cups, is when you start to smell it really strong. It's just like my head had an itch. And I was like, wait, did that have stuff on my finger? Whatever. Alright, so I'm going to wipe this down. You guys can see the texture that we're going for here. And you can go back and touch up any of the areas if you see any black spots that you don't like, or any areas that you think needs more bubbles to it. So I'm going to dry off my next side. Lid for that over there.
doesn't seem like it takes a whole lot of that.
It doesn't. The more pigments you dump in there, the less UV resin it actually takes. The thicker of a layer of UV resin you use, the higher the bubbles are. The higher the ridges are in between the bubbles. I figured that out the hard way. It took me like 7 million layers of epoxy.
So you want a thin coat so that way?
Yeah, I do a really thin coat just to make sure that you have all the color that you want on there.
That's actually UV resin in your cup, Elizabeth. So that way she can cure it with the
UV light. Yeah. So it's just my pigments, my glow powder, and my UV resin mixed together in this little cup. And then I just spread it on in little sections. I'm going to put it back over here. And then do my bubbles again. You'll see that my whole worker area here is wet, which is why I put down paper towels, so that it helped with the mess that I'm creating. Alright, so I got my bubbles on there.
The important part is to not inhale the soap mixture.
Because that would be bad.
The equivalent.
Dawn tastes absolutely terrible, so...
Yeah, it'll be the equivalent of having your mouth washed out with soap.
Yes.
As a child.
With Dawn dish soap. My mom's was always like Ivory or something like that. Or, you know, but... Could you imagine it with Dawn? That would be awful. Okie dokie. Now we'll dry this area off. And we'll be back around. There is water dripping on me. Okay, you can turn off now. Alright. So, now we're back at our meeting point. And I'm going to take my cup again, fill in this little area.
This cup is stunning.
Who said that?
Chrissy. And Fawn, this cup is so pretty.
Yeah, I really like this one. The pigments are killer on this one. Like, they're very, very pretty. And this is why I spend a lot of money in pigments. Because they make my cups turn out like this. I also did this method under a dragon eye tumbler, which is around here somewhere. I was going to ship it out today, but I got distracted, and my son's playing with his Linkimals.
Chrissy, shh, don't tell him you spend a lot of money on craft supplies.
Oh, he knows.
I already know.
He knows. But I did get a ton of these on the Black Friday sale, and they have like Solar Color Dust has like this combo thing that you can do where you get like 5 or 10 of them, the colors that you want, in like this little bundle for like a lot cheaper than what it is to buy them individually. So that's why I'm just now using some of them, because there was so many of them. Okay. Oops. They're falling off. Okay. And then quickly get your UV light before they all slide off and pop.
And pop, yeah.
The latex gloves help you to move, or the silicone brush help you move around the bubbles with your hand or the brush so that they don't pop. And then once we get done, I'll have to do the bottom, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like while it's glowing. And you can also take these pigments, and say you were going to mold a dragon eye, you could take the pigments and color your dragon eye with it. You would just have to paint it black first. I always paint mine with alcohol ink, and then do tack it, Aleene's tack it glue, and then let that dry, and then I do my pigments directly on top of it. So we're going to take it off, move that. Alright, so now I'm going to paint my bottom, which is my last little area that I have. You can see some of it, the paint came off on the bottom. I probably rubbed it against something and the paint came off. Get all my pigments out of my cup.
How much UV resin do you use on the cup? About an ounce, 30 mils.
Yeah, it was about an ounce that I used, and depending on the size of your cup also, and how thick you do your layers, will depend on how much you need. Okay, now I'm going to quickly grab my UV light.
Trying to hold the bubbles in place.
Yeah, because they're stuck to my hand. A little bit of bubbling down there. The bottom is usually always the hardest. Alright, so this is what our tumbler looks like. Boom, bam. Look at the different directions, the color shift that you see. Very, very pretty. I like it a lot. Okay, and then we're going to try and get Cameron to kill some of these lights so I can show you how it glows. And I'm just charging it with my UV light. All glow powders can be charged with a natural light. but the UV light actually charges it faster and makes it where you don't have to have natural sunlight in order for it to glow. Alright.
Ready?
Yep, ready?
3,
2,
2,
1. You can kind of see how it's glowing. It's not charged well enough. So, I have...
I see it.
Yeah, that's what it looks like with it glowing.
It's pretty blue in person.
Yeah, it's a very
hard to
pretty
pick up
blue
on.
glow in person. It's hard to pick up on. Alexa, turn off the living room lights. There's a glare. Okay, now you can see a little bit better.
Yeah, it looks almost greenish.
Yeah.
You hit it on the other camera. Maybe not.
Maybe
Show it
not.
very well. Awkward.
But look at my glow-in-the-dark cups and my vinyl.
Right.
You see everything glowing in here. Okay, so with this one, I'm going to epoxy until smooth. This is my other one that I did. It is also a UV bubble method. I did, these pigments were like a teal, blue, and gray or something like that. I made this one to say Mother of Dragons, but it can really say anything. So I'll just, tomorrow when it's daylight outside, I will probably put it outside in the sunlight and let it finish curing, because it is a little bit sticky. Of course, it's wet right now from the Dawn dish soap as well as the UV resin not being completely cured. But once it sits outside in the sunlight for a couple hours, it will be perfect. And then I will epoxy it until smooth, decal it, and
Let it go.
let it go. Yeah, for this cup, I would generally charge about $45 to $50 for the 30 ounce, and about $35 to $40 for the 20 ounce. So, super cool cup, and it's even prettier in person, I will say. It does look a lot better in person than it does in the camera. On this one, I did put some holographic silver chrome flakes in it, so you can kind of see some of those holographic chrome flakes in there. They turned out pretty cool. Those did come from Counterculture, which is where I get all of my epoxy as well. So yeah, that's all I have for tonight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'm sure some people will watch it after it's posted to my Facebook page.
We'll put this one up on YouTube too.
We're also going to put this one up on YouTube, so if you're not on our YouTube channel, hop on over and check it out. It's Custom Creations. I think
31326.
Yeah, 31326, which is the Rincon area zip code. This is my personal Facebook page, but I also share it in my Tumblr making group that I have. So yeah, if you guys liked it, find our YouTube channel, find our private group, join it, and until next time, have a good night. Bye!